This story now. Women and children in South Africa continue to suffer at the hands of men. In a bid to tackle gender-based violence, President Cyril Ramaphosa unveiled an emergency plan in September amid pressure from activists. Now, part of that plan is to implement the Interim Steering Committee on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide. Now, around 1.6 billion rand was set aside to deal with the crisis. Let's get an update now on the committee's work, and the co-chair of that Interim Steering Committee on Gender-Based Violence is Brenda Madumise Bajibo, who joins us in studio. Ma'am, good morning and thank you for joining us. So how much progress has been made?
Do you have the whole day?
Then we can start.
Yeah, okay.
You can give us the highlights.
Yeah, the highlights is, and I'm hoping that you do have the document that we sent through, because we're looking to be as transparent as we can, right? So every Thursday, so today's Thursday, we're going to get the latest feedback from all the departments, right? Let's put this within a context. The money that you have just mentioned, 1.6 billion, it's not sitting with the Interim Steering Committee.
Where is it sitting?
It's sitting with the respective government departments. The police, for instance, they've made a commitment of the money, right? So let's just take 100 million from the police. That money goes towards identified areas of interventions that they have identified, right? One critical, or in fact, two of those, is the backlog with the rape kits. Right? Okay. For a long time, we didn't have rape kits in the respective provinces and police stations. They have said to us, they now are available, right? They've given us the numbers in those provinces, right? We need to then confirm and verify that that's the case, right? Yesterday, Minister Cele said to members of parliament that they're in every police station. We're going to test that, okay? But it's not just us as the steering committee testing it. It includes you, too, as a member of society, to do so, right? Then they said to us, as the police, they're going to be training a number of police officers to bolster the sexual offences unit, right? You know, they've got a specialized investigating unit that deals with sexual violence cases, right? That unit has been underfunded for a long time, not just in terms of money, but in also human resources. Exactly. We're now giving them extra 300 police officers to bolster cases, because we're sitting with a number of cases that are not moving, that are not being investigated. That deters women and any citizen from reporting, because nothing happens.
I want to hone in on the sexual offences unit, because there the issue is not just going to be money, but the attitudes of police officers when they deal with the victims of gender-based violence. What is being done on that front?
So it's training. Right, but it's not training for the sake of training, because we have questioned that. If you look at the history of the police, they will tell you that they've trained the police, right? They've been trained in numerous areas, including gender-based violence. But the results tell you something different, right? Because as you walk in any police station, the police think that they have got the right to tell you whether to proceed with a sexual violence case or not.
Why does this attitude continue to persist, despite the outcry?
Because they are also... Let me say this to you, Chloe, is that they are socialized to believe that they can decide on what I have to say as a woman, right? Because he's a man, don't forget. He's coming from a home. He's coming from a family. He might be an abuser himself, right? So when confronted with me walking into a police station to report a rape or a domestic violence, the quickest way of him resolving the matter is that let's have a negotiation, go back and sort it out with your husband, because that's what he knows, right?
Quick and final question to you. I know that you've said that this budget, 1.6 billion, is allocated to a number of departments. But how much is allocated to you specifically as a steering committee, and what are your specific outcomes? Nothing
is allocated to the steering committee.
Okay.
Our outcomes is to monitor its implementation, right? When we get those reports, is to follow up, right, to ensure that it is done and the money is used for the intended purpose. So the money can't be diverted to something else, can't go and do a concert or festival.
Is to monitor.
It's to monitor all that. Out of that 1.6 billion, only 130 million is going to be allocated to civil society with the NGOs that are on the coalface providing frontline services for victims or survivors of gender-based violence. So that's the only money that they have. We don't have the money as the steering committee. We are not a legally constituted structure. So we can't be given the responsibility of looking after money, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the update. We'll keep bothering you.
Please do.
We need
then. Yeah, we need that.
As you get updates on Thursdays,
like today,
we also will try and bother you too.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Brenda
Okay.
Modumise Pachibo. She is the co-chair of the steering committee on gender-based violence.